The Tang Dynasty did not collapse because it was weak, chaotic, or poorly governed. At its height, it was one of the most advanced civilizations on Earth, economically sophisticated, administratively complex, and culturally unmatched. Yet this empire collapsed anyway. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly, predictably, and economically. Long before rebellions erupted and borders failed, the Tang state had already lost control over the system that sustained it. Land stopped generating revenue. Taxes stopped reaching the center. Military costs kept rising while productivity fell. What followed was not an accident of history, but the mathematical outcome of an economy pushed beyond its structural limits. To understand the fall of the Tang Dynasty, we must look not at battles, but at balance sheets. At its peak, the Tang economy was deeply integrated into global trade networks. Silk, tea, ceramics, and precious metals flowed across Central Asia and beyond. These exchanges generated immense wealth and reinforced the dynasty's authority. However, this prosperity depended on stable routes, secure borders, and a strong central administration. The system worked exceptionally well, but only while those conditions remained intact. The Tang state relied heavily on land taxes and grain redistribution to fund its bureaucracy and armies. This system assumed accurate records, honest officials, and balanced land ownership. Over time, however, these assumptions collapsed. Tax burdens became uneven, enforcement weakened, and corruption spread through the administrative layers of the empire. Large landowners increasingly absorbed smaller farms. Wealth and land concentrated in elite hands, while peasants lost economic independence. As estates expanded, taxable land effectively disappeared from state records. The empire's fiscal base shrank, not because land vanished, but because it slipped beyond the reach of taxation. As peasants lost land, they became tenant farmers or laborers. Productivity declined. Incentives vanished. The rural economy weakened, and with it, the foundation of Tang's state revenue. Economic vitality was replaced by survival-oriented subsistence. Meanwhile, military expenditures continued to rise. The Tang Empire maintained enormous armies to defend its borders and suppress unrest. Funding this force required constant revenue growth. Growth the economy could no longer provide. Fiscal imbalance deepened. The state faced rising costs and declining income. Instead of reforming land ownership or restructuring taxation, the government relied on short-term fixes, delaying necessary adjustments while worsening long-term fragility. Economic weakness shifted power away from the center. Regional military governors began collecting taxes directly and retaining resources. The imperial government lost fiscal control, transforming economic decentralization into political fragmentation. The An Lushan Rebellion exposed these vulnerabilities. It was not merely a military uprising, but the eruption of accumulated economic failures. Supply chains collapsed. Tax systems disintegrated. Recovery proved impossible. After the rebellion, the economy never fully recovered. Agricultural output declined permanently. Labor shortages intensified. Revenue streams remained broken. To compensate, the state increased taxes on those who remained productive. This accelerated decline, pushing more people out of formal economic participation. Urban centers weakened. Trade volumes fell. Economic integration dissolved. The empire began to fragment into localized economies. Administrative capacity collapsed. Without revenue, governance became symbolic rather than functional. Political authority followed economic decline. Control weakened because resources disappeared. The Tang Dynasty did not fall because it lacked culture or intelligence. It fell because its economic structure could no longer sustain complexity. When fiscal systems fail, political unity becomes impossible. Economics sets the limits of empire. The fall of the Tang Dynasty reminds us that prosperity can mask fragility, but never eliminate it. Empires collapse not at the moment of rebellion, but at the moment their economies stop working.